Welcome back to Adventurous Advocates. Are you ready to swing into a good time? Today we're here at Animal Kingdom to talk to some of the keepers and learn some fun facts about the animals at Disney, meet some fun furry friends, and have an adventure. Come on! First up, we've got Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. Here we have the Gorilla Sanctuary, the Hippo Pool, and the Bird Forest. I'm so excited! What do you love about Gorilla Falls?
All the gorillas, you gotta go see baby Otter. She's too cute.
Oh, when was she born?
She was born about a year and a half ago.
We sure appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem. Have a great day.
Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
What's your favorite animal?
I haven't seen any yet, but my favorite is like a cheetah.
A cheetah? I think they actually might have one of those. I'm not sure if it's this track or the Asia track, but we're going to do both, so we'll check it out.
Well, there was a thing on the Animal Kingdom show with a baby gorilla, and I wonder if I could see a baby gorilla.
A baby gorilla?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would
We'll have
be
to check
cool.
it out. Bubba's told me before that his favorite animal is a hippo, and they have a whole hippo pool. So we're gonna have to check it out. I'm excited. So I love penguins. They don't actually have penguins. One day I will make a film where I get to touch a penguin because that is like my life goal, to get to pet a penguin. So I think there's a place in Kansas that's gonna let me do it, and I've heard that Discovery Cove will as well. So, but aside from penguins, I do love me some monkeys. So come on, let's check out some monkeys. Before visiting Gorilla Falls, there are a few things you may want to keep in mind. First, it's a 3/8 of a mile all the way around, so you're going to want to consider whether standing or walking is an issue for you. If so, you'll want to either rent a wheelchair or ECV, or discuss your condition with guest services to see if there's anything they can do. If you do have a visual impairment, they have some amazing resources. They have audio description books, they have Braille guide books, they also have tactile booklets and guides, as well as maps, and they do allow service animals. They also have staff positioned at almost every exhibit to answer questions, to help people having anxiety issues, or to accommodate specific needs on a case-by-case basis. That's the thing about filming wild animals, is that sometimes they hide and they're sneaky, so it's kind of hard to get on camera. So we're going to get as many of them as we can, and we're going to try to get you as best a view as we can. But some of these little guys may be a little sneaky. Are these the giraffes? Oh, they're the okapi. I love okapi. They're so cool. There's the okapi. They kind of look like what happens if you're like printing something but start to print something else midway. So they got like part zebra, and it looks like part, it's kind of got the brown like in a horse. They're very cool. It does look like a mixed match animal. It's so creative and fun, and it's so interesting, all the different accommodations you see in nature. So hey, this is Priscilla, and she works over next to the okapi enclosure. And I was hoping she could tell us a little bit about her presentation here.
Yeah, so here we have the giraffe skull and then the okapi skull next to it, because the okapis are relatives of giraffes. So we try to kind of show you the similarities in their skulls. So very similar, obviously, but just different size. Now, both the okapis and giraffes have ossicones, which are basically like skin and fur covered horns under their skin.
I always thought those were ears. That's where they heard from them.
Yeah. Their ears are right here, basically, but no like bones on their ears.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Something new today.
Yeah. So but giraffes they have them on both males and females, while okapis only have the ossicones on the males. So here we have a female in the enclosure today. Now there's another thing that I like to point out, is this big space between their teeth and like the front of their mouth. That's where their 16-inch long tongue goes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's a prehensile tongue, which just means it can kind of grab stuff like our hands can. So they'll use that to reach up to the trees and grab the leaves off. Now, what's not shown here with the skulls is their body shape. So that's the main difference. The giraffe has a very long neck since they live out in the savannah. So like very few trees, so they have to reach up to those tall trees. Whereas the okapi is very short and dark. Since they live in the dense rainforest, there's like leaves basically everywhere at eye level. They don't need that long neck. They can just kind of eat everywhere, and they're dark, so they can camouflage into those trees.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you look at the sign here, it has a very small handicap accessible sign, and that means that you have to go a specific way to have the ramps and all the things that are accessible to individuals with disabilities. And they're not very large. They are located at several points throughout the trek, but if you miss them, you may end up in an area where you have to turn around and you can't go because there's stairs or areas that are inaccessible.
So the research center is basically modeled after a research center that would be in Africa. And in it, we display species that are endemic to Africa, such as the spiny mice. We have 2 colonies of naked mole rats. We have several what we call reptiles, which are reptiles, amphibians, and invertebrates. So we have a couple of snakes, we have pancake tortoises, and we have an African bullfrog.
Very cool. Is there anything else you think people might enjoy or need to know? Like do y'all rotate out animals?
We sure do, yeah. And then also attached to the research center is our aviary. So there's about 22, I think, species of African birds. And then we have cichlids in there as well, which is a type of fish. And we always have people out answering questions, telling you what all of the birds are because we have so many species. But there is a QR code as well, so people can scan. Yeah, so there should be one right outside the door, and then I think at the other end, I can't remember where the second one is, but there's one right outside the door to the left. And then, yeah, we always have people around to answer questions about the animals, and then we do lots of enrichment for the animals. So one of the mice is chewing on this little jack-o'-lantern right now for Halloween.
Let's go check out the naked mole rat bird. That's cool. Remember Kim Possible? They had a naked mole rat in that one. That one's super fun. Let's go see what they look like in real life.
So here we have 2 colonies of naked mole rats. We have here on this side colony A and colony B. The cool thing about naked mole rats is they're kind of like bees. So they have a queen, and she has workers and soldiers. So she'll send her workers to be digging these tunnels, organizing the rooms, bringing food up to either her or maybe like the kitchen, because they do have like designated rooms. So if you see where they're all sleeping over there in that left corner, that's their bedroom. They'll have a kitchen wherever the most of the food is. If they have babies, they'll have a nursery room too. Now they live underground in the wild, so we did replicate this system for them to kind of replicate their habitat out in the wild. Since they live underground, we don't know too much about them, so this is how we can kind of study them appropriately.
If you are not an avid bird spotter or bird watcher and you need a little help identifying everything, Disney gives you an awesome QR code. Once you scan the QR code, it's going to bring up this cool bird guide that you can touch each of these birds and learn more about them. Keep your good bird spotting eyes out. Help me look for them, see what we can see, okay? All above us, there's little birds just flittering everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's flashes of color. The birds are all different sizes. Some of them are medium to large. Some of them are little bitty, and you really have to look for them. There's nests. There's fun waterfalls. There's ducks waddling around. But my favorite part is watching the kids' faces. It just lights up when they see something that they, found that nobody else saw, or they see something that's their favorite color or their favorite bird. This area is so fun and relaxing. So Xavier's not the biggest fan of birds. He's kind of afraid of them, but he loved this area because it's not like the budgie bird tents where they're just all over you and landing on you. They're very much up in the trees, away from you. They're not interacting with you. And so you really can enjoy them with a lot of distance and more of a sensory friendly experience. All right, what was your final count? How many birds did you see in the trees and in the waters? Go ahead and leave me a comment below and let me know how many you found.
So in here it's a freshwater area. We have our African cichlids. They're a schooling fish, that's why you see so many. Farther in the back, we do have a couple of our female hippos that live here.
Can we ever see the hippos from this angle?
Yep, so they often come around, they often swim through this water. We also see hippos over on the safari.
Do they ever eat the fishes here?
Nope, so hippos are herbivores, so they're going to be eating plants. Most of their diet is going to be grasses.
Here on the Gorilla Trek is one of the Wilderness Explorer spots. You can talk to a cast member, learn some fun facts about different animals and fossils and things like that. It is very cool. Let's check it out.
Right here, we can earn all these badges. Right here, here's that tracking badge for you, so we can get you started. And we're going to be on page 18. We're going to use clues to figure out what animal left something behind. So let's get those clues out to y'all. Here's that first clue. What is this called? Exactly, it's a big footprint. And that second clue is scratch marks on a tree. So what does an animal use to scratch? Exactly, so this animal does have claws, but we don't see the claw marks, right? Why don't we see its claw marks? Exactly, went back. So they're able to take their claws in and out or retract their claws. So let's see, do you think cats are able to retract their claws or dogs are able to?
I haven't seen any my dogs do it, so I think that's probably the cat.
You're exactly right. Cats are able to retract their claws. So this is from a big cat. And that last clue is yellow fur. So what's a big cat in Africa with yellow fur?
Lion?
A lion, exactly. It's a lion pauper, my friends. So there is one cat in Africa that cannot retract its claws, and it's this one. You want to guess which cat can't do that with their claws? They're super fast.
Cheetah.
Cheetah, exactly. And that's because of their speed. So think of a track runner. They need that grip on the bottom of their shoe. Their claws are non-retractable or they're going to stay out so they can get that traction on the ground. So they're only cats that can't do it. Exactly, right? Catch you faster. That's one way to think of it. And just like that, my friends, we've earned that badge. And it's going to be your...
Awesome. Thank you for all the cool information.
We have Grevy zebras. That's one of 3 species of zebra that we have here. The Grevy is the largest of the 3 zebras. It actually has a white snout instead of a black snout. The zebras that you see on the safari are the Hartman Mountain zebra, and this is the Grevy zebra. And then at the lodge, we have a common zebra. They're all in different regions of Africa. The Grevy's found in the savanna area, and they are the most endangered. One of the things that we are helping with conservation is buying the land, some of the land that the farmers have that they fence off, and building wildlife corridors between where they are grazing out to water, so that the Grevy zebras can get to water. So that's one of the things that we do with them. Grevies are actually related to a donkey, more along that line, where these 2 other species are more related to horses. And then we have slender-tailed meerkats in here, and the slender-tailed meerkat lives for about 10 years, and it lives together. A group of them is called a gang or a mob, and they usually have an alpha female, and she's in charge. We have all males, so if one of our males has to go to the doctor, we have to take all of them in because we don't want them to fight to change the hierarchy within the group.
That is actually really interesting. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so these guys dig holes. They are related to a mongoose. They are what we call opportunistic carnivores. They will eat food. They'll gang up and kill an animal and eat that animal together. Otherwise, they're going to go find things like seeds and nuts and fruits and things like that. Sometimes some of them will go be gatherers and bring that back to the group. You'll have some that will be diggers and some that will be the outlook. And you'll even have some that will be babysitters for the litters that are born together.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting.
Our little guys have green dots on them, and that's actually a vegan hair dye. And that is so if one of them gets in trouble, we can actually call the keeper and say, hey, we noticed this, and so they'll know who to look for by the dye on them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all
Yeah.
that.
So you have 2 badges for you here. So I'm going to have your hiking badge and your gorilla badge. So your gorilla badge is on page 19. And what do we know about gorillas? What do we think?
Gorillas can climb trees and they can also eat on their chest. And I don't really know a whole lot.
No, that's okay. That's a perfect list. Do we know anything else back there or up here? Anything else to add?
Furry.
They are going to be furry, right? So it's going to make them mammals.
They clean themselves by picking.
Yeah, they will. They'll groom each other, so they'll pick out bugs and insects. What were you trying to say? Yeah, they do. They have nails just like we do. They also have thumbs just like we do, which is really cool. So there's a lot of different things that we have in common with gorillas. And there's a lot of things differently as well, right? So even though we like to climb trees, you think they're better at climbing trees than we are?
Yeah.
Probably, right? So they're going to be a little bit better at those different behaviors. Then they're going to have 2 different groups that they live in. So it's going to be kind of like humans do, right? So what kind of group do we live in? If we have mom, dad, siblings, what do we call that? Yeah, family, right? So behind me is our family group, and then around the corner is going to be our 3 adult silverbacks. It's going to be our bachelor group. So that's when you don't have a family of your own, and you just get a bunch of friends together, and you can all hang out. So it's kind of cool to see how we can have a lot in common with them and how we interact. So they don't like to be by themselves, so they're going to live with a lot of other gorillas in those groups, which is really cool. All right, now if we had to take a guess, do we know what gorillas eat?
Berries.
Berries. What else? Leaves. Absolutely. Maybe some small insects. Absolutely, right? So they are going to be classified as herbivores, which means they are going to be our plant eaters. So they're going to eat things like fruits, vegetables, leaves, bamboo. Every once in a while, they might eat an insect out of curiosity or boredom as well, which is kind of cool to see. I'm going to encourage you when you go home, try to figure out if you can learn more about gorillas, see what they do, what those other behaviors might be, and how we can help protect them, right? Because if they're going to rely on those plants, then one of those things we can do is help protect those plants and their natural habitats as well. So you can look up a couple different ways that we can do that. All right. So here is your gorilla badge. And then once you've received this one, if you go back one page to page 16, you can get your hiking badge. And your hiking badge you already earned simply by walking all the way up here today.
Oh my goodness, they're so close to the class. Oh, it's the baby. Can you see his parents? Oh, there's one of them. Oh, there's a third one over there. Oh, hi. He woke up. He rolled over. There's one over there by the wall. I don't know if you can see. Oh, they're hanging out and having so much fun. Does anybody remember what the gorillas in Tarzan were called? They had names, and I cannot, for the life of me, I can't remember their names. Any other day, and I would have. What? Turk is one of them. Yeah. What was the mom's name? What was the mom gorilla? We are going to have to go brush up. Leave it in the comments, guys. If you can remember what Tarzan's mom was that was the gorilla, please leave it in the comments because it is totally slipping my brain right now. And I have watched that movie like a million times and I love it. And I cannot remember. I think these are the single gorillas. I don't actually see any out here, but the bridge is cool. Oh, there's one back here. Let's back up. Here, can you help me get a good shot of it? Let's see. Is the single gorilla enclosure. You can see one laying back there. Nice big silverback. Very cool. Look at his enclosure, though. You take this bridge over it. That's absolutely amazing. But you have to use your good animal spotting eyes because he's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, so in this troop, it's a family troop. It's composed of Gino, who is the dad. He's 42 years old. He came from the Netherlands originally. And then he has two wives, Kashada and Azizi. They both have children. Azizi has Ada and Corey. And then Kashada has Lily, Flint, and Grace.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they all live here kind of together as a family. Corey and Flint are both 8 years old respectively. Normally the sexual maturity for these gorillas is roughly around the ages of 13 to 15 years old. So at some point we have to figure out what to do with them as they kind of get older.
What happens when they get older?
So when they do get older, they'll be sexually mature, obviously. They'll want to kind of express themselves a little bit more differently to their family members. And so to kind of mitigate that, they will either go to a bachelor troop, which is kind of what we have behind you. It is a troop that's kind of composed of just males. They're just pretty much a hierarchy kind of in there, but they normally all just kind of live coexisting with one another. Or because Corey has great genes from Gino, because he's from the Netherlands, he'll most likely end up going to another zoo and he'll be able to breed and he'll be able to have other babies.
Oh, that's awesome that you guys share with other zoos.
Yeah.
You really look out for what's best for the gorillas. That is awesome. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. When you say bachelor versus family group,
Yeah.
I'm sure more than one person is wondering, what is the difference in how they live in a family group versus how they live in a bachelor group?
Yeah, sure. So bachelor troops, again, they're mostly comprised of just males. In the wild, male gorillas sometimes don't find mates. And so because of that, they'll either just kind of be secluded. And if they find another boy, they'll be like, hey, let's kind of go out and try to find other girls together. Because, you know, they're social animals realistically. And if they don't, well, then they'll just kind of continue with their bachelor troop. In a bachelor troop, it's normally the strongest gorilla that it will be the alpha. Because there are still alphas in bachelor troops. For example, in our bachelor troop over there, KJ is the alpha. He is the son of Augustus, which was the alpha. But yeah, so that's kind of how it works.
So they kind of protect the weaker ones from the other males, and they still act a little bit like a family, but just more independent.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Very cool.
And then in the family troop, as a normal family is composed of, you have dad, that's normally kind of overseeing everything. Then you have moms that are kind of like the second rank, and then you finally have children.
Ooh, let's look at the silverback. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it. It was the one by the rock wall a while ago? Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Over here in
I don't know if you can see him through the bars very good. Kinda. I love all the relaxing waterfalls, and I love that they don't pump music in here, so it's a very sensory friendly area. I also love that they have shaded areas to get away from the heat. For all you Jungle Cruise fans, it is the backside of water. These Angolia monkeys are making my heart so happy right now. They just run around like little kids having the best time, not caring about anybody around them. They're so beautiful and graceful. Love it. The other thing to keep in mind is that although you can see most of these animals on the safari ride, you can't see them up close. Here, you get to see them walk around in their home environment. You also get to see them interact with the other animals. You get to stop and spend time with them. Where the safari, you're just driving through very quickly. You see them in passing. They may say 1 to 2 things, but not much. And here, they actually have keepers at almost every, if not every station to answer any questions that you have about the animals. And the keepers were so super friendly. They would talk to you for as long as you wanted to talk. They would tell you about each animal individually by name and give you fun, quirky facts about that specific animal as well as the species. And it's so amazing. It's like having a little zookeeper right there. Well, guys, we've had some fun. We've met some furry friends, learned some fun facts, and earned some badges. Go ahead and leave a comment and tell me what your favorite animal was today, what adventures you'd like us to see in the future, and then also go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss anything. And until next time, stay adventurous.